Have you ever wondered what would happen if a simple summer camp turned into a nightmare? That's exactly what Fear Street Part 2, 1978 explores. While the movie delivers plenty of brutal scares, it's really about family, guilt, and a curse that has haunted an entire town for generations. Today, we're breaking down what makes this chapter so important, how the characters end up making impossible choices, and why the ending completely changes everything we thought we knew. The story takes us back to the late 1970s, long before the events of the first movie. Instead of busy streets and high schools, we're dropped into Camp Nightwing, a place that's supposed to be full of friendships, campfires, and summer memories. From the beginning, though, something feels off. The tension between the kids from Shadyside and Sunnyvale reminds us that this rivalry has existed for years. One town seems to have all the luck, while the other is constantly surrounded by tragedy. At the center of the story are two sisters whose relationship is already falling apart before the horror even begins. One sister desperately wants a better future and believes following the rules is the only way out. The other feels misunderstood, angry, and convinced that nobody truly cares about her. Their emotional distance becomes just as important as the supernatural threat surrounding the camp. The film doesn't waste much time building an uneasy atmosphere. Strange events begin happening around Camp Nightwing, and people start noticing that something isn't right. At first, these incidents seem random, but they slowly connect to the mysterious curse that's been haunting Shadyside for generations. The audience already knows from the previous film that history has a way of repeating itself, and this movie shows exactly how terrifying that pattern can become. One of the biggest strengths of the film is how it makes viewers care about the campers before everything falls apart. We see friendships, rivalries, romances, and personal struggles. These moments give the characters personality instead of making them feel like simple victims waiting for their turn. That emotional investment makes every dangerous situation much more intense. As the mystery grows deeper, it becomes clear that an ordinary person has fallen under the influence of the curse. Instead of acting on their own, they become an unstoppable force driven by something far darker. This idea separates the movie from many traditional slasher films. The real enemy isn't just one individual. It's the ancient evil controlling them. Once the violence begins, the atmosphere changes completely. Camp Nightwing transforms from a peaceful summer retreat into a desperate fight for survival. Every cabin, forest trail, and lakeside path suddenly feels dangerous. The survivors quickly realize they can't rely on adults to save them. They're forced to make life or death decisions on their own. One thing the movie does especially well is showing how fear affects different people. Some characters panic immediately. Others try to stay calm and think logically. A few become surprisingly brave when protecting their friends. These different reactions make the story feel much more believable because everyone responds differently under extreme pressure. Meanwhile, the relationship between the two sisters continues to evolve. Years of misunderstandings begin surfacing as they're forced to work together. Throughout the chaos, they slowly recognize that neither of them truly understood the other. The horror around them becomes the catalyst for emotional healing, even if it comes far too late. As more secrets surrounding the curse are uncovered, the story expands beyond Camp Nightwing. We begin realizing this nightmare didn't start here, and it certainly won't end here. Every shocking event feels connected to a much larger history stretching back hundreds of years. The film also explores the contrast between Shadyside and Sunnyvale. On the surface, one town appears blessed while the other suffers endless misfortune. But the deeper we look, the more complicated that picture becomes. The movie encourages viewers to question whether the stories they've always been told are actually true. Visually, the setting plays a huge role in building suspense. The dense forest creates constant uncertainty because danger could appear from any direction. Darkness hides both the killer and the truth. Even familiar camp activities become unsettling because the audience knows safety no longer exists. The pacing deserves a lot of credit as well. Instead of rushing from one scare to another, the movie alternates between intense action and quieter moments where characters process what's happening. Those emotional pauses make the suspense even stronger because viewers never know when the next attack will arrive. The soundtrack perfectly captures the era without feeling forced. Classic songs help establish the late 1970s setting while also creating an ironic contrast between upbeat music and terrifying events. It's a technique that gives the movie its own unique personality. Another reason this chapter stands out is that every major event has consequences beyond this single story. Nothing feels isolated. Every discovery becomes another puzzle piece leading toward the final chapter of the trilogy. Even small details introduced early become surprisingly important later. Without revealing every twist, the ending leaves viewers with mixed emotions. There are moments of courage, sacrifice, heartbreak, and hope all happening within a short period. Instead of offering a simple victory, the conclusion reminds us that defeating an ancient evil is far more complicated than surviving one terrible night. Perhaps the most important lesson from this movie is that fear isn't always the greatest enemy. Sometimes lies, secrets, and generations of misinformation can cause even greater damage. The curse may create monsters, but human choices allow that darkness to continue. Looking back, Fear Street Part 2, 1978 succeeds because it combines classic slasher horror with emotional storytelling. It's not simply about escaping a killer. It's about broken relationships, impossible decisions, and discovering that history has been hiding the truth all along. By the time the credits roll, viewers understand that Camp Nightwing was only one chapter in a much larger mystery. The answers everyone has been searching for lie much further in the past, setting the stage for the trilogy's final installment. So, what did you think about this chapter? Did it become your favorite movie in the trilogy, or do you think another installment handled the story even better? Let everyone know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this explanation, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss another horror movie breakdown. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.